Hi, this is Erin Zimmerman. I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk you through goal setting. This is something that you're going to want to do either at the end of the month for the coming month or the first day of the month, and really lay out your goals, understand what it is you want to achieve, what you're shooting for, map it out, and then identify who on your team also wants to accomplish these goals. So what are some areas where you can set your goals? The number of new ambassadors that your entire team adds, the number of personally sponsored ambassadors that you add. Maybe those people that are less than or zero PV, how many of those you want to get up over 100 PV? That should be a monthly goal that you set. The total number of points that you hope to gain in this coming month, or that you will gain in this coming month. Maybe you're halfway between a large rank advancement, like say something from like Ruby to Senior Ruby, and you want to get halfway there. Or maybe you're going for Senior Gold and you've got 75 points, and that's your point, that's your goal for the coming month. And then also your leader development goals. Who are the people on your team that are close to ranking silver or close to ranking super silver or gold or Senior Gold? And how are you going to help them get there? Set that as part of your monthly goals. All right, so let's just look at a couple of worksheets that are really helpful in mapping this out for you. If you are silver and you're working toward either super silver or gold, a lot of the work and a lot of the growth will rely on you. When you're early in the phases, then it is a lot more personally sponsoring and going out and finding people. And eventually you will find people that also want to go silver or super silver and grow their business. So it's just a matter of the more people you can reach and the more people that you can add as level ones, you absolutely will find those people that want to grow, want to refer their friends and family in, and that want to share about Plexus. So first step is on the left-hand column. Just jot down everyone in your existing team that has a subscription order. SO stands for subscription order that has 100 PV. So you just go into your back office and you sort and look at all of the subscriptions that'll be coming up that are at least 100 PV and write them down and tally up at the bottom the possible points that you would get from all of those people once their subscription processes. The second part is to jot down your personal strong potentials. Who are the people you've been developing relationships, people you've put in a 3-day challenge or that have shown some interest or have reached out to you, or maybe they're trying a sample. Jot all of those people down as well. And then you want to really think about, okay, if I am going for gold and right now I'm at 75 points, then that means gold is 100. I need 25 more points in order to get there. Now, most of the people, when you're going from silver to gold, most of the people, the ones you add most of the people added to your team are typically in your levels 1, 2, and 3, which, as you know, those all are equal to 5 points. So you need 25 points. And so that means 5 points per person. That means you need 5 people, because 5 times 5 is 25. So you need to find 5 additional people during this month to help you hit your goal of gold. Now, all 5 of those people could come from you. You could personally sponsor those 5 people. Or you could sponsor 2 or 3 of them and then find someone on your team who wants to go silver, and they could sponsor 3. And then you guys could work together to get those 5 people. And that's the key here. And that's what this right-hand column is identifying the people on your team that are close to silver, or maybe they just have expressed that they want to go silver, and begin working with them and helping them make their list, helping them with some messaging examples on how to reach out, helping them with that first post on Facebook or those consistent posts on Facebook or Instagram. So you use this worksheet as a roadmap to help you identify what points you need and then determine where those points are going to come from. You helping a couple of people on your team get to silver or some combination of that. So that's from silver to gold. And like I mentioned, most of this effort is you and maybe a couple of people on your team. But whenever we start to move to higher ranks, like gold to senior gold or ruby to senior ruby, then there's a little bit more math that's involved. But you guys, this is fun and you can totally do this. So don't be intimidated by this at all. As you know, levels 1, 2, and 3 are all worth 5 points. Level 4s are worth 4 points. Level 5s are worth 3 points. 6s are worth 2, and 7s are worth 1. So as you are approaching senior gold or senior ruby, your team has gotten deeper. You've got a lot of level 1s, but then they have added teammates. So you might have some level 3s, level 5s. It could go a little deeper. So it's important that you understand on average how many points that each ambassador on your team is worth to you. So over here on the left are the 4 steps to kind of doing the math so that you know how to begin to map this process. We're going to walk through these steps. So step 1 is to figure out your points, and so you can figure out the average points per ambassador on your team. So what you do is go into your virtual office at your points and rank up section. And at the top, you switch it to the previous month and they'll show you how you ended the previous month. So in this instance, we ended the month with 181 points, and that came from 51 ambassadors. So what we can do then is we just simply divide 181 by 51. And what that gives us is 3.55. So now we know that each one of the ambassadors that gave us points last month gave us 3.55 points each. So that means you had some kind of a combination of levels 1, 2, 3, and 4s that made up this 51 ambassadors. So you had a different levels of points coming from them. So 3.55 is the average points per ambassador for you and your team. So that was step 1. Just write that down. Now, step 2 is to calculate points after subscriptions have processed. So you go to the same part of your back office in your points and rank up, click on the header subscriptions, and then click on it again. And it will pull all of the people who have a subscription in place coming up. Then you can begin to look through here. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4 that all have at least 100 PV that'll be processing soon. But wait, this one is less than 100 PV. So that one is not going to count for points for me. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then we've got on June 4th, 219. So that's number 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 ambassadors here. And we would scroll down. There's many more down below this. But just as an example, 8 of all these subscriptions, 8 of those will count for points when they process. So those points, you would multiply times that 3.55 because we know each one of our ambassadors is worth 3.55 points on average. And that would tell you how many points that you still have to process because of subscriptions. Now listen, this person here that only has 87 PV, no, I don't have points. I can't count points for them, but there is action I can take on this. I want to reach out to this person and say, hey, did you know that we have a perks program where if your subscription is 100 PV, then you get perks every time it processes. You're only $13 away from earning 150 perks, which is the equivalent of $15 that can be used for future product. Also, we have a product of the month now. And so in this instance, it's active. So if you add active to your subscription before it processes, you'll get an additional 50 perks, which is a total of 200 perks. That's $20, you guys, that they would be missing out on. And so you would want to reach out to this person and really work to help them to get those points up, well, to get their PV up over 100 so that we would get points for them. So let's just say we went through this whole process, we tallied up all of the subscriptions that are yet to process and determined that at the end of this month, we should have 176 points. Remember, we're shooting for 250 because we want to go senior gold. So over here, this is just the calculation of how we determined average points per ambassador. And then I just tallied up all of the subscriptions yet to process, and I'm going to end this month with 176 points. So let's move to step 3. I know I need 250 points. So I subtract 176 from that, and that tells me I need to come up with 74 additional points before the end of the month, on top of the subscriptions that are already set to process. 74 points, how many people is that? Well, I know my average points per ambassador is 3.55. So I'm going to divide the points I need by the average points per ambassador, and that gives me 20.8 people, additional orders, either from white lines come back or get partial PV up over 100, or new people that come in. Well, you can't have 0.8 of a person, so we're going to round up, and that tells us 21 orders are needed to meet this individual's goal. So 21 orders. Well, first of all, I'm going to set my personal goal. How many people am I going to add this month? Well, we know we've got some really great incentives going on right now. And if we add 6, we get an additional bonus. So that's what I think everybody's goal should be. I'm going to add 6 people this month. Okay, well, now I just scrolled through and looked at all those subscriptions, and I saw quite a few there that were less than 100 PV that I'm going to reach out to. So my goal for getting how many people above 100 PV is 8. I think I can find 8 people that'll be excited about the perks program or excited about the product of the month and want to add that into their subscription and bump them up over 100 PV. So 21 was how many I needed. Subtract the 6 I'm going to add, subtract the 8 that I can find through partial PV, that leaves 7 people that our team, I need help from the team to help me get to this point. And so I've looked through, and I went to my back office and I sorted by team points, and I noticed that last month I had Allie and Jan and Susie that were all really close to a rank. So Allie has, she has 5 points, but she needs 10 points to get to silver. But she's expressed to me that she really wants to share. She wants to hit that goal. So I'm going to reach out to Allie and say, hey, let's get you to silver. Jan is only 15 points away from super silver. So of course, I'm going to reach out and help her to do that. And then Susie also has 5 points and needs 10 more points to get to silver. So this 10 points, that's 2 people. This is 3 people, and this is 2 people. That gives me my 7 that I need. And then of course, I'm jotting down the people that I'm thinking of that I've been developing relationships, the ones that I'm going to be working on to get my 6 personal enrollments that I've been thinking about. So we got our 2, our 3, and our 2. So how does this add up? Let's finalize the math. Okay, first of all, top line here. 7 people that my team's adding, remember those are coming from over here from the leader development piece, times the 3.55 per ambassador on average. And that's more than likely most of these are going to be 5 full points each, but we'd rather err on the side of caution. So let's go with our point average. That's 24.85 points. Well, I'm going to add my 6. I know those are all going to be 5 points because they're level 1s. That's 30 points. And then these 8 that I'm going to get up over 100 PV, again, times 3.55 per ambassador, that's 28.4, which is a total of 83.25 points. Well, remember, I needed 74 from over here. I knew as of now, I'm going to end the month with 176. I need 74 more points. So I'm actually almost 10 points ahead of what I actually need, but that's okay. We want to have a little bit of a cushion in there. So this just kind of shows you how to do the math. I want to encourage you, though, you got to be flexible with this. This is something you need to look at several times a week, reevaluate. I personally got erasable pins so that I can jot it down and map it out. But let's just say I added Ben, and I didn't even know Ben was going to join at the beginning of the month, but about halfway through the month I add him, and he says, I want to go silver, fast start silver. I want to make this happen. Well, then that's going to modify my plan a little bit. So I want to take that into account as I am working with Ben and working with Allie and Jan and Susie and anybody else. Okay, so this just kind of shows you how to use this worksheet, and I want to challenge you. Be flexible. Revisit it often, which I mentioned. Check in and help your team. Help Allie, help Susie, help those people that have expressed interest in achieving their goals. Help them get into a 3-day challenge. Do a small group Zoom for them. Have them pull 3 or 4 of their potentials and hop on a FaceTime or a Zoom where you can bring some third-party validation. Reach out to them if they're having a hard time knowing what message to send. Give them some ideas of sample messages that they could send. Make sure they have a list, that they've written down the names of people that they're going to reach out to and that they are messaging them. So just check in with your team, help them. Remember, you're developing them, you're helping them, you're developing leaders. So here are your next steps. You want to complete your worksheet. Go to the team page, print it off, and complete it. Then reach out to the people you've identified that are close to a rank up and cast the vision for them and let them know they could do this. And let them know you're here and ready and willing to help them. Help them to hit their goals and hit their rank ups. On your calendar, go ahead and pull it out and schedule at least weekly check-ins with the people on your team that you're working with, just to make sure they're tracking and that you're helping them along. And then you be doing your reach outs. Minimum of 3 reach outs and 4 follow-ups each day. If you've got really big goals, you're going to want to bump that up to many, many more reach outs and follow-ups. But on a minimum, we want to do at least that many of those on a given day. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that this information was helpful. I am excited about helping you to hit your goals this coming month.